Hello. In this video, we're going to continue learning about systems of equations, but this time we're going to solve them algebraically. So previously we have learned how to solve systems of equations by graphing. In this video, we are going to also learn about substitution and elimination. So let's begin. Solving by substitution. Your first step is going to be isolate a variable in one equation, either the x or the y in equation 1 or equation 2. Then you're going to take that equation and substitute it into the other equation that you have not touched yet. The other equation, that is so important because if you substitute it back in the equation that you just isolated, you're going to get infinite solutions every single time, and that may not be the correct answer. Then you're going to solve this new equation. Then you're going to take that answer and plug it back into either original equation. So either equation 1 or 2 that you see printed on your screen or on your paper or wherever the problems may be located. So let's look at an example. We have the system x plus 3y equals 5, 2x plus 5y equals 9. So I've brought our steps from the previous slide over to this slide so that we can use them as a guide. So the first thing I need to do is to isolate a variable. So I'm going to look at this system of equations and determine which variable is going to be the easiest to isolate. I see I have a 1x, a 3y, a 2x, and a 5y. Because I see the 1x, that is what I want to isolate because it is going to help me avoid any fractions. If I were to isolate for any other variable, I would have fractions and would have to work with fractions probably throughout the remainder of this problem. So x plus 3y equals 5. I'm simply going to subtract 3y from both sides to get x equals negative 3y plus 5. Equals means is. X is the same thing as negative 3y plus 5. So I've isolated my variable. I'm going to take negative 3y plus 5 and I'm going to plug it in for x in the second equation. So instead of it saying 2x plus 5y, I am now going to take the negative 3y plus 5 because it's the same thing as x, and I'm going to plug it in. Now I have an equation that only has one variable. At this step, you can have a self-check back saying, do I have an equation with only one variable? If you don't, that's a problem. So now we can distribute. Negative 6y plus 10 plus 5y equals 9. Combining our y's, negative 6y plus 5y is negative y. Subtracting 10 from both sides, I get negative y equals negative 1. But I don't want a negative y, I want a regular y. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1, so I'm going to get y equals 1. Okay, those were in the wrong order. So I substituted into the other equation, and I have solved this new equation. Now I need to take my answer, y equals 1, and I need to substitute it into either original equation. Well, I really like x plus 3y equals 5 just because it's super simple. So that's where I'm going to plug it in at. So now x plus 3y, but now I know what y is. Y is actually 1, so I'm going to plug it in there. 3 times 1 is 3. Subtracting 3 from both sides, x equals 2. Now I know that my x is 2, my y is 1, so my solution is 2, 1. Our other method, which is my favorite, is elimination. To begin, both equations have to be in standard form, meaning x and y have to be on the same side. Then we're going to solve for, we're going to make either our x's or our y's match with opposite signs. So we're going to see what that looks like in the example. We're then going to combine the equations, solve this new equation that we have, and substitute the answer into either equation. Let's see what all of this looks like. We have our steps and our system. Y equals 3x minus 5. First thing, both equations must be in standard form. Equation 1 is not in standard form, so I must get it in standard form. X and y need to be on the same side, so I need to subtract 3x from both sides. Negative 3x plus y equals negative 5. And then I don't really like that negative, so I'm just going to change everything over to 3x minus y equals 5. You could have kept the negative and it would not have affected your answer, but This is just nicer. So now we can see that now that both equations, excuse me, I was just stuttering, line up. And so now whenever I get to combining, everything will combine nice and neatly. So both equations are in standard form. Now I need to make either my x or my y match with opposite signs. So I have a 3x and I have a 2x. I could make those 6, but I would have to multiply both equations. I have a negative 1y and a positive 5y. If I multiplied equation 1 by a positive 5, then I could easily make that y a positive 5. So, if you noticed, in the last example, we worked with a variable that had a 1 as the coefficient. In this example, we're working with a variable that has a coefficient of 1. So that's something, if you have a coefficient, if you have a variable that is a plain variable that has a coefficient of 1, that is your key. That is what you want to work with. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Of course, it is not the only way, but it is the most simple way. So I'm going to multiply this equation by 5. I'm going to distribute 5 to everything inside the parentheses. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times negative y is a negative 5y. 5 times 5 is 25. Now I see that I have a 5 on the positive 5y on the top and a negative 5y on the bottom. My y's match and they have opposite signs. This is key because we're going to see how it helps us eliminate in just a second. So my x or my y match. In this case, it's my y and they have opposite signs. So now I need to combine the equations. 2x and a positive 15x. That combines to 17x. Positive 5 and negative 5 simplifies to 0. There we go. It eliminated. 9 and 25 equals 34. If your variable doesn't match with opposite signs, it will not eliminate like this, and then you have not achieved the method of elimination. So let's rewrite it in a nice, neat form. 17x equals 3y. My y's have been eliminated. I now have a single variable equation that I know how to solve. Dividing both sides by 17, I get x equals 2. So I've solved the new equation. That was super simple. That was one step. Wow. That's why I love elimination. So we're going to take this answer and we're going to substitute it into either equation. Personally, I really like equation 1, y equals 3x minus 5. But now we know that x represents 2, so we can take 2 and we can plug it in. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. Now we know our x is 2, our y is 1, and our solution is 2, 1. That concludes this video. I hope this helps you understand the methods of elimination and substitution.